So starting with the tasks of the Rural Pact Support Office, as you know, we are the service unit for DG Agri, which is trying to put those three objectives that Alexia presented into reality. And we are doing a number of different activities. And among other things, we have to share, we are mandated to share good practices about the objectives of the long-term vision and good practice webinars, especially. So ways where practitioners can actually exchange and share their experiences. And then as the long-term vision for rural areas has a specific number of action plans to put it into life. And one of these actions is, of course, you can see is the horizontal action of the Rural Pact, but also there are the 9 flagship initiatives that are thematic. And one of the flagship initiatives of the European Commission is focused on, as you can see, the last one, but not the least important, entrepreneurship and social economy. So that is one of the topics we're dealing with. Of course, it's not the only focus of, as you see, of the Rural Pact Support Office. We will be doing a lot of things about other themes, but it's still a very important topic for us, and we're very happy that there's so much interest in it. So just very quickly explaining, because we will be talking very often here about social economy, social enterprise, social entrepreneurship, just so that you're not confused. They are slightly different, although the differences are really very, very fine. But just to say that 3 criteria that identify the broad understanding of social economy. First is that people and social and environmental interest comes before profit. So this is an economy, this is a business type of activity, but people and social and environmental interests are more important than making money. And if there is a surplus, if there is an extra profit, it should be reinvested to benefit members, users, or the wider community. And there has to be a democratic participatory governance. This is enshrined in European legislation as the 3 characteristics of social economy. There are, of course, different legal forms that it can take. We will discuss about them a little bit later today, but they're cooperatives, typically mutual benefit societies, associations, foundations. The social enterprise, which is like an enterprise, it can be like a share company or whatever. It is also a specific form of social economy, and it can have a precise definition. And there are member states where social enterprise is defined especially, and it has special tax or other advantages. And then social entrepreneurship, as you can understand, is the whole process of developing social enterprise, especially develop new ideas, developing organizations and initiatives to address social and environmental issues. We want to support all of them, and we basically will be talking about very often all of these aspects. So for us, the most important part is what we would like you to remember, to keep in the back of your mind as we discuss, is that indeed the money, the euros here, are not as important as the people, as the community, and the environment in which it lives. So if there is, even the money is important, it should not be disregarded, but it should feed into, it should bring benefits to the community. That's as much as we want you to remember about the definitions. And then why do we talk about social economy specifically in the context of rural areas? Well, because rural areas, first of all, have all kinds of challenges that need to be addressed, and social economy, we think, is a very good way to address them, such as loss of jobs, loss of markets and incomes. As a result, of course, there's population decline. With the population, then all the services and infrastructure is going. And there are various forms of exclusions that rural areas are suffering compared to the cities, for example, social exclusion, educational, cultural, and so digital, of course. On the other hand, it's not just all black. It's not all just the sad face, but there's also some positive sides of the rural areas, which are specifically favorable for the development of social enterprise, such as availability of human resources, free people who live there and who are looking for something useful to do, and natural resources as well. More entrepreneurial attitudes. Very often rural people feel that they are more left to their own devices, and therefore they are more open to undertake entrepreneurship activities. There's also strong social capital very often in many rural areas, and networking and cooperation. So there's suitable ground for the development of social enterprises. And then to foster social entrepreneurship through local action, we chose three main topics that we would like to focus our discussion on. First of all, to find the right solution in terms of model of organizational and governance setup for the local context, to respond to the local needs, to use the local knowledge, to use the local assets, also to involve the key actors that will be supportive, to mobilize the critical mass of community support, and also to ensure long-term sustainability. There are a lot of projects which finish and the social enterprises disappear. We would like to focus on how to make sure that they don't disappear, that they actually stay there, and that there are also all kinds of issues like different funding sources and so on. And there are the cross-cutting themes that will be appearing in all the discussions, such as skills, capacity building, innovation, and we will very shortly hear about innovation in terms of the ESF Plus initiative, and also the funding sources. So I finish here and I pass on to Anastasia Costantini from Diesis, who will explain to you what is interesting from Diesis recent studies. Anastasia?
Okay.
Over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Anastasia Costantini from Diesis network, that is one of the widest networks specialized in supporting social economy and social economy enterprise. As I said, now in line with the vision, the recent vision of the European Commission, in the recent years, we as Diesis, we have focused on exploring the potential of social economy as tool to promote long-term development in rural areas. And we produced some studies, and among them there is these two that you can see. So one is more focused on empowering rural community, that is already published. And another, we are focusing more in this gender, but also generation perspective, that is more about the impact that social economy can have for women that are living in the rural areas. And it will be published in next June. And starting from there, next slide, maybe. Thank you. We want to share with you some insight, that with our studies and thanks to our members. So since that we are a widest network of social economy enterprise around more than 25 countries, in Europe and behind, we had the opportunity really to analyze what is happening in rural areas. And starting from there, so starting from some promising practice, grassroots solution, we want to share with you some insight. As we said, in rural areas often face a wide range of challenge, like lack job of opportunity, limited social cohesion, and so on. And for me, and what we can say from the good practice analyzed, the social economy can contribute to unlock the potential of rural area, not only in terms of the economic aspect, but also in terms of sense to improve the sense of community and social cohesion. That is one of really important steps to go ahead and to build together a sort of ecosystem that can engage all stakeholders and give, to say, really the structure to have more a long-term vision of developing something and some business model. So this is really the first step that I want to share with you, the potential of social economy in help the sense of community and help the building up an ecosystem for engage all the stakeholders. And this is based also given the really the participatory governance that social economy enterprise represent, and this really appropriate to revitalize rural areas and their economic situation. And starting from this starting point, another important aspect is that that we know that rural area are different one from another. So they all of them each rural area has a specific needs, a specific demographic aspect, but also geographical aspect. If you think about mountain inner area or also coastal part. And one of things that social economy enterprise can help this part is really that social economy provides with a range of tools and models that can be tailored to meet the specific need on each rural community. And for instance, we can talk about work integration social enterprise. So you can have a really different models and different approach under the umbrella of social economy organization. One of them is this one, work integration social enterprise. That is really, and one of example of there is, for instance, the social farming. The social farming can expand the farming behind the primary production and include really social service, and is really close to give benefit about integration of vulnerable groups or migrants or other category that are facing to, also just to go in the job. And for instance, we can see this, that could be social farming really a model to integrate, for instance, people with disabilities, or we had a lot of example of therapeutic community based in this type of model that can give both benefits. So in one sense, the economic aspect for the farming, but in the other sense, to create really the social cohesion and inclusion, and to give an opportunity to people to restart, to have a job, to restart their rehabilitation, for instance. And this is really important because now can help respond to aging population, family structure. We have different models also in terms of childcare service, and really this aspect of the work integration social enterprise, and more specifically in this sense, I want to suggest social farming can be one of tools that social economy can put in place to contribute to the development of the rural areas. But another aspect, very important, is not only this, but is that we are assisting among the social economy enterprise in promoting the development of emerging and diversified rural economy. So we are assisting a sort we can call like weak signals and new rurality in terms of that is a rural area is not only agriculture, for sure is the basis, but we are assisting more and more in new emerging trends like really cultural and creative industry, regenerate vacant housing through the initiative of the new European Bauhaus, or creative economy, bring people from the urban to the rural thanks to cultural activities. We are in the north of Europe, we are assisting to this form of rural cinema, or we have a lot of experience when about also orchestra or music academy. There are based in the rural area. So since that in the rural area we have a space and maybe vacant housing, we are assisting now to regenerate this type of space for the community, with the community, but in terms of creative and cultural activities. And this is also close to also a new approach about tourism, so sustainable tourism experience related not only to the cultural, but also to the natural heritage. And this could be an asset also to, how to say, to mitigate the youngsters' emigration and to give to also the young generation a new perspective about the rural areas and a new way, you know, to live the rurality. And rediscover the potential. As we said, we can consider social economy a good actors because have a different model that you can use to approach based on the needs of the community that you have. One of very interesting models can be the Cooperativa di Comunità, that is a community cooperative based in Italy, that it was born actually in Italy, and really is a cooperative organized in a way where citizens themselves takes the initiative and provide service and product for the local community. The FIS community was born really in Italy and founded mainly in rural area, really to respond to this challenge about this the population of some inner village. And nowadays, is really important to put the attention on this type of model, since that was born 20 years ago for this reason. And this is really interesting because they have this power now to work with the citizen for citizen, using their natural resource, and also to give service and product that responding to the needs of the community. So it's not only just one sector. This type of cooperative not work in silos, but they work together in a very transversal way, offering several services that can serve the community themselves. And we have a really very innovative solution that's starting from this type of models of social economy, and really is could be something that could be, how to say, study a bit more, really to understand this connection with the long-term vision of the rural areas. But it's not only this. We have a lot of other examples and a lot of other, how to say, application of social economy in the rural areas. I want to just to give some last insight about the green social entrepreneurship. That is something that is really happening nowadays, very frequently, especially with this twin transition that we are assisting. And this type of we have several social enterprise managed by young that are working on this eco-social aspect of their business, and to revitalize really the community in where they lived, or they decided to back to the rural area to develop this type of service. But also we are assisting a sort of a connection with the urban area. So we have several examples of a social economy enterprise that are working in the rural area, but in their business model, they are developing this connection from the beginning with the urban. So to have this supportive linkage between urban and rural area. And this is also possible, especially also with the digitalization, the usage of digital tools. That is not only in terms of, technologies or for production, but really also in terms of enlarge the market of some of the rural business, the business based in rural area, to enlarge their market, also creating this linkage with this urban area. And especially in that sense, we have a lot of example in in this type of a field of alternative food system that they like local food district, ethical purchasing group to sustain small farmers and so on. So especially in this branch of activity, you can find a lot of example of social economy actors involved in this type of activity, and they are creating a sort of really what I can see that is where you find, for instance, in Estonia, we have several examples of them, and they are really creating a good ecosystem to give the opportunity to set up other business model in the rural areas. It is really a sort of increasing really the possibility to facilitate, to create an environment that can facilitate the setting up new business model based on social entrepreneurship model. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anastasia. Sorry, I was a little bit pushing the slides a little more quickly, but we want also to hear the last presentation from Živilė, and we don't want to go into too much into the coffee break. So thank you. Just to say that we will have Diesis experts with us until for the whole day today. We will have hopefully one representative from Diesis into each working group. So that will be really an opportunity also in the working groups to ask questions and to ask for comments. So now we go straight into Živilė Čimolauskaitė from Lithuania, who will present what the ESF Plus can offer in terms of social innovation to social entrepreneurship in rural areas. Živilė, over to you, and Julie for the PowerPoint.
Thank you, Urszula. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to talk about European Competence Center for Social Innovation. This is the European structure created to work closely with member states and social innovation stakeholders. And for those who are not familiar, in 2022, November, Lithuanian European Social Fund Agency signed a contract with European Commission for the management of ESF plus Social Innovation Plus initiative. So what an idea stands behind this initiative? I will try to explain for you. The EU has been promoting social innovation since the early 2000s through the various policies and programs. And the European Social Fund Plus will continue to support social innovation with multiple measures in 2021-27, and member states are asked to support social innovation with ESF funding through specific actions in their national and regional levels. But if we would like to look at a broader picture, something is needed next to the national level, next to the member states' initiatives. So here comes ESF plus Social Innovation Plus initiative, the EU level actions to target social innovation with 197 million. And this initiative aims to facilitate the transfer and the scaling of innovative solutions to tackle present and future societal challenges. For that, we aim to involve public authorities, civil society, academia, and other stakeholders. And in operational terms, this initiative will be organized considering two working streams that you now see on your screen. First one, grant scheme. Urszula, please, if you can come back. Yeah, thank you. Still this one slide. So grant scheme, designing and implementing all the elements of life cycle of European level calls. And one call now is already closed. Some will come in the future. I will talk a little bit about this later. And the second stream is this European Competence Center for Social Innovation. this structure is created to work closely with member states and social innovation stakeholders for making better use of ESF plus resources. On the other hand, it's not something totally new. It's a continuation that was known transnational cooperation within the ESF so far. Next slide, please, Urszula. So what opportunities come from this grant scheme? I hope you heard about Alma Call that was launched in December 2022. For those who are not familiar, ALMA is an abbreviation of Aim, Learn, Master, Achieve, designed as a social empowerment initiative for disadvantaged young people aged from 18 to 29, in employment, education, or training. In other words, sometimes we call it needs. This call aims to help all member states to integrate ALMA in their ESF plus programs by piloting or scaling up ALMA type of operations. We have 34 ALMA applications from 10 countries, mostly from Italy, submitted, followed by Spain and Poland. So the next, in 2023, we will have a little bit more calls, and we plan to have a call for national competence centers to boost their communication and capacity building. And this call is coming in summer, but I don't have a possibility to talk about this a lot because we're working on it, and everything will come a little bit later. So a couple new also proposals will come in for social innovation for the upscaling of young people, not in the employment, education and training. In summer, it would be possible for 7 million. And the third call that is foreseen is for societal consequences on the war in Ukraine in November. But currently dates are tentative, and the terms are still being negotiated with the European Commission. So I just can provide you saying that please visit our website for more information at later stages. Thank you. Next slide, please. And the second stream, the first was grant scheme, and the second stream, European Competence Center for Social Innovation. And in terms of activities, the center will focus on 5 key areas to inform and support beneficiaries of EU level calls that I mentioned before, create a knowledge sharing platform to map the European social innovation ecosystem by building on the exercise that national competence centers were making before in their projects. And this is really exciting. This exercise, exciting, of course, difficult one. We're starting working on that. But why it is important? After this, we will be able to see all the European social innovation ecosystem, maybe even with the IT tools. And in that way, member states will be able to learn one from each other, which structures can work in the best way. And we think that it will, foster social innovation spread among all member states. The third is to manage the European Commission Social Innovation Match platform. I don't know if you had a possibility to hear about this social innovation match. It's quite a new thing. And here is the place where you can find the inspirational examples and organizations with whom you would like to work in the future regarding your field. So I really encourage to visit social innovation match in European Commission site and try to find expressions, maybe some examples, good practices that are validated in one another member states country. On the other hand, if you need a partner for some projects to be done, you can also find a partner in it.
I'm sorry to be interrupting, but I think we have to speed up a little bit because we're already going into the break. I'm sorry, this is just always the last presentation is punished, but we have to speed up a little bit.
It's okay. So maybe I will stop here with the mapping and say just with the social match platform and invite you to visit. You will find it in the European Commission site. And maybe the last thing I would like to say in the second slide, it's transnational cooperational activities that we aim also to do. And I am coordinator of social innovation, community of practice. And we believe that these communities of practice are really the most important vehicle to drive social innovation. So in these communities of practice, we also share knowledge. We work with the member states managing authorities, trying to talk more about social innovation in different fields. And now it becomes really very important because in new period, 2021-27, every member state have a priority of social innovation in their working programs. So I believe that this will help for everyone to boost the social innovation in the future. And this European Competence Center, it's quite a new idea, but it's very important to have this European structure to help boost social innovation in the future, to tackle challenges that we foresee in these days. So thank you. I think I will not finish my last slides. This is the main idea I wanted to share with you today.